Hello, good morning. This is Ronnie Newton doing Be Live and doing a Facebook Live in John Lyons's place on my own for the first time. Although I'm not totally on my own, I have Mayor Shari Cantor and Director of Public Works, John Phillips here. We have been having some technical problems with the app that we use to do this Facebook Live. John Lyons has been on the phone with them troubleshooting. I think it's a problem in England or Ireland. He's been on the phone for an hour, so we're sorry we're doing this late, but really the people that we want to hear from the most as we're looking to have our first snowstorm in about 2 years are Mayor Shari Cantor and Public Works Director John Phillips. So can you tell us what the town is doing to be prepared for this upcoming storm?
Well, I'm just going to first say John is the expert. So I'm going to just say good morning, everybody. And we did have some town communications to individuals to, make sure that they are prepared. Obviously, making sure that when we have a parking ban, you know where you're going to put your car, making sure you have equipment to shovel the driveways, make sure your sidewalks are cleared, all of those kinds of things that we need to think about that we haven't really had to think about in a couple of years. So I know that it's exciting for some and really disturbing for others. So we understand that. But our town is very prepared, and our Public Works Director is the best. And you'll hear from him on the preps. So, John.
So, great segue, John. How has Public Works been preparing for this storm?
Well, good morning, everybody, and thanks for having me this morning. Good morning, Mayor. Well, Public Works is routine for us, really. It's though it is our first storm in 700 plus days of measurable, plowable snow. It does feel like there's, like the Mayor explained, an extra level of excitement. So we certainly have to do cross-check, double-check a lot of our stuff because some of the equipment that we would use normally for this equipment has been sitting idle for quite some time. But weather technology has improved so much over the last, the last several years, and John Lyons could probably attest to this. We were actually tracking this storm a week ago. A lot of the weather gurus who are on YouTube and a lot of what John does as a hobbyist, they're really good at just kind of explaining things. Always, you always take it with a grain of salt. But we saw a lot of this happening. So we were able to come in right after the holiday because this was a short week for us. The New Year's holiday weekend, we came in Tuesday morning ready to rock and roll and start shifting our equipment from what was an extended construction maintenance season because the way December played out, and really just start transitioning our equipment to winter maintenance. That's what the crews have been doing most of the week down at the DPW yard. Management, folks at my level, we've been communicating nearly every day with other emergency management departments, police, fire. And that's kind of normal for us anyway. So we really didn't do anything abnormal this week. We communicate anyways regularly. But this week's topic was we mentioned weather and watching weather and to really a finality yesterday where we touched base with both the police chief and the fire chief to discuss final details. And all the departments, all the emergency management departments that service the town are certainly ready and are prepared for whatever happens tonight going into tomorrow morning. As the mayor showed, we did send out some communications. Renee McHugh's office, public communication officer, sent out a lot of, repetitive stuff from past years, but it doesn't matter when the storm is. It's all good information about, cleaning your sidewalks, waiting for the job to get done on the streets, try not to travel if you don't have to travel. The parking ban, again, that's always hypersensitive for any community. But it's also hyper necessary for Public Works to do their job safely. So we do have a parking ban going in place today at 4 p.m. It's not early because we expect snow flurries, snow to start entering our atmosphere around 5 o'clock. And so the trucks will be out doing a pre-treat, putting a salt brine material down on the road so we limit the icing bond between snow and asphalt. So trucks will be out working, and we want to be able to work the whole street safely. Safety for our drivers, obviously, but also safety for those who want to park on the street or do park on the street. Our trucks are large; they're wider than most vehicles. Our lanes get narrow, so it's an important tool we must use, and we understand it's a huge inconvenience for many residents in West Hartford. But we do ask for compliance, and we really don't want to enforce it to the level that we would need to for the purposes of public safety. Additionally to the parking ban for this particular storm, there is more weather coming midweek, and it's rain, substantial rain. And so rain needs to flow off our streets, needs to make it to the gutter and get to the catch basin. So that puts an added emphasis for our plow drivers needing to plow the entire street and not have to avoid parked cars, so we get the whole street clean, so that when the rain comes and warmer temperatures come midweek, the water has somewhere to go and we minimize any localized flooding issues. So again, that's the parking ban. If I say if there's anything a key mission critical piece for this storm, is that itself is compliance on the parking ban. Beyond the parking ban, again, pretty much a standard operating procedure. A lot of our drivers are new. We've gone through some turnover the last couple of years, but they all have experience in winter operations, probably just not in a municipal or a public works setting. They're excited about getting started. We're excited about seeing them perform. Like the state DOT is broadcast a little bit, we're a little short-handed on contractors. We're pretty much fully staffed that we can be internally, but contractors a little short. We don't have as many contractors that make us comfortable, but we're certainly satisfied for what we do have, and we're satisfied with the town's workforce to get the job done in all of our areas, schools, streets, and parking lots.
Well, I think you mentioned, John, that you have there's some new equipment that is able to cut down on the number of times the plows need to go up and down the same roadway.
Yep. Yeah. So a few years ago, again, through the support of the council, which always supports public works on our initiatives, we started adding wing plows, and through social media that Public Works pushes out, some residents may have seen our wing plows in action. Well, we've continued to add more wing plows to our fleet. Again, the entire fleet's not wing plows. You have to have a balance between singular plows and the wing plows, but we do have more. And what the wing plow allows us to do is in general terms, if it takes you 4 passes to clean a single street, the wing plow allows you to cut it down to 2 and maybe a third just for a final sweep and cleanup. And if you multiply that times the 214 miles of road that we have, that takes a lot of mileage off of what we have to drive, and so that should increase the frequency we can make our routes. It won't shorten the storm. It won't shorten the amount of time that we have to work the storm, but it should put us in our routes more frequently and more passes, so that we minimize the depth of snow on the street on a per inch basis.
John, can I ask so one of the concerns that we have when people they shovel their driveways, they're clear, and then the plow comes and leaves obviously the snow from the street to keep the streets safe in front of their driveways, and they need to plow again. I mean, a lot of it's timing, and I think you even mentioned, wait until the plow comes if you can, and then shovel or snow blow your street or your driveway, but and making sure you don't put that snow back on the street, right? That's another thing that we really emphasize, so our streets can be very safe. So does that help, that with a wing plow on that kind of a situation?
It does, and it's a great point. So yes, listen, the streets have to get plowed. The snow can only go in one direction. That's to the right and left curb of the driver, and which is our property lines, right? I like to emphasize when I talk about this topic, we're all homeowners too, us plow drivers. And so we completely, from any optic you want to look at it, understand that dilemma. It's certainly not something we want to do, and we want to be cognizant of that. That's why we like to do our job as best we can. And we just ask for as much patience as possible from our residents to not be so quick to manage their property quickly and efficiently. And we know it's hard when the sun starts poking they're coming out, and we could see a little break of sunshine mid-morning. You'll feel like, oh, it's time, and you'll get out there. Every resident can do their properties much faster and efficiently than we can the streets. So the wing plow that comes in, yes. So if we're making quicker routes, we'll be able to get more snow to the side more efficiently, a little bit quicker. And so if we are coming back to that final cleanup, that the amount of snow that's coming off on that final cleanup should be less. So it should lessen the burden if you've already cleaned your property of having to go out and do touch-up work. But with that known, I mean, we all live in our streets, most of us, right? If we're long-term residents, but even if you just recently moved in, take a quick mental snapshot of how wide your road is. And if it doesn't look that wide tomorrow morning, you may want to decide how far you want to clean down your driveway, or if you want to dive into your sidewalk. Certainly, if it's heavy, wet snow, I do highly recommend you do your sidewalk multiple times. You want to catch it in lower inches than try to move a full 8 inches of snow off a sidewalk or off of your driveway if you're choosing to do yourself with a shovel, or if you have a snowblower that isn't as robust as a commercial unit that obviously that municipalities use. So patience is important. Tomorrow will be especially heightened because everybody will be home. It's Sunday. People probably have a lot of maybe their sons and daughters home from colleges, so they have a lot of internal resources to really go out and maintain their properties pretty quickly. We just ask that you be patient and let us do our work. And when you get that mental snapshot, the street looks relatively wide, curb to curb. You can easily see the curb, which you should be able to see the curb because there's no snow base today. So whatever snow falls is falling on really an empty canvas. You should be able to see the depth of the curb. If you see the catch bases that are open, then you know that road is probably near 100%, and you can probably put a bigger and stronger effort in cleaning your property. As far as throwing snow in the street or not clearing your sidewalk to its full width, most sidewalks are about 36 inches wide. Mayor, and you've been through all the meetings, Vision Zero comes to mind when it comes to that, right? So if you throw the snow in the street, you're making it unsafe. You're creating a hazard for the cars who are using the road after it's been cleaned. And so we want to minimize those conflicts and ask our contractors, our residents who use snow blowers not to point the chute into the street and let it rip, blow out the snow out in the street. And then just opening up their sidewalks because I've been working in town public works for 27 years. It doesn't matter what the weather is. This is a walking community. People get out and get their exercise, get their steps, and they bundle up as Ryan was showing her.
I went this morning to get my run in.
Our residents, from single walkers or to small little, to the families, they get out and they do walk. They walk our sidewalks. So from a Vision Zero standpoint, that focus of making sure that everybody gets to use our transportation system, pedestrians and vehicles safely, we just ask you keep that in mind when you do your cleanup.
So, John, I have a couple questions that people have raised on, I wrote a story about the upcoming storm, and there are a few questions people have had. One is if you're a Monday trash collection, slated for trash collection, but you've been told to hold off on putting your Christmas tree on the curb, what should those people do? Okay.
Well, two different kind of programs there. Trash collection is routine, right? It's Monday through Friday, happens 280 days a year routinely, 52 weeks a year. We're limited as a municipality as far as whether we can stop trash collection and suspend it for a day or maintain it. Typically, we only suspend trash collection on your major holidays, and that's because of where the trash is disposed of. They really dictate to the collectors whether they're going to be open on that Saturday or not. And more often than not, they're not. They're going to stay to a Monday, Friday work schedule because that's the way these are power plants in a lot of ways. That's the way their plants are dialed in, and that's when they expect their volumes, and so they're pretty strict on working those time frames. So we have to collect in most weather conditions. Obviously, extremes, we make considerations. We reach out to the incineration companies that manage them, and all the haulers plead their case, and then decisions are made. I don't see that happening for this storm. At least the energy's not there to show that that's going to be necessary. So the trash trucks and recycling trucks will be out doing their thing as normal as of right now. Christmas tree is a little different thing. It's a different kind of collection program. It is a contractor that collects it. It is specialized equipment that pick it up. It's really just a packer truck. We have more flexibility whether we're going to run the collection route for that or not. But it's not whether we run the collection route. It's this: we're not collecting today. Certainly, we're not going to collect tonight. So if your tree is on the curb line today, this afternoon, and you leave it out throughout the night, that window we're just talking about goes into sidewalks in your driveway will bury your tree, and it won't get collected if it's buried in snow. The guys are not going out there with shovels and picks to undig a Christmas tree. So we just ask residents who have not had their tree collected, but it is presented at the curb, pull it back either up to your garage, up to your property, off the right of way, so that the actions of the plow truck don't cause greater harm to the tree and then make the tree unable to be collected later this week.
So what if you're if you're in a Monday collection period, can you put your tree out Monday morning? Or should you hold off?
No, it's a great question. I would hold off because it's likely because of that, because that's more of a manual collection, and we're not going to probably want the collection drivers to be working within the snowstorm. But I'll get clarity to that in our communications as we know more about today's storm and what impacts it will have on Monday's collection.
Okay. All right, and the other question people had was about parking in schools, because normally we need to wait and know whether or not school is open or closed, but of course there's no school on a Sunday. Can people use those school lots?
Yep, we've advertised through our media pushes and information pushes that all our municipal lots are in play for tonight's snowstorm. People can use them to get off street if that helps them, if they're in a neighborhood situation. And specific to our schools, very difficult to put a set time for tomorrow when you need to be out of the parking lot. Again, it's all going to be dictated on the completion of the storm and the accumulating snow stopping. So we ask that you pay attention to the parking ban. There will be a public message that gets pushed out when the parking ban has been lifted. That should be your cue if you're in a school lot to really get your vehicle out of that school lot. That will help us clean the school lots thoroughly so that we're not disrupting the start of school Monday morning. So anybody who chooses to use school, please pay attention to the alerts when the ban is lifted, and please act on that, move your car. If by chance you miss the opportunity for that social media push or that information channel, common sense. If you start seeing the road wet, no snow, accumulating snow, you kind of can judge that you probably bring your vehicle back and the parking ban has been lifted. And if I had to put a crystal ball on that, sometime early evening is probably the best time to be focused on that.
Can we go out to dinner tonight, though?
That's I've had a couple of restaurants and a couple event the Parker Playhouse called yesterday. And John might have better information on this or just as good. Actually, the heaviest of snow is 7, 8, 9 o'clock tonight. It's going to start a little slow, but then it'll ramp up quickly. And if you have later dinner reservations, you're probably going to be driving in pretty unpredictable and quick, rapidly changing road conditions. I got to be professional here. We prefer you not. We prefer not to have that many vehicles on the road during the heaviest of snowfall. An inch plus accumulation on the road is significant. And right now, weather reports are showing that happening, that 7, 8, 9 o'clock time frame. And most weather sites that I've been following, most of the accumulating snow will fall before midnight, 1 a.m. We'll have a big chunk of the 10 inches, if you want to use that as a high mark. Most of that 10 inches will fall before 1 a.m. This evening.
So early dinner, maybe.
Go for an early dinner.
Yeah, we just moved reservations up. So just to follow up on the Christmas tree. So if Monday collection, you're recommending not to put out Monday, so next Monday would be the date to put it out?
Yeah, if we cancel Mondays, we certainly we'll pack it up. We'll back it up for the next Monday again. But today is Sunday. A lot can happen between now and then. Again, and if the weather's good, and I'll make sure I make a special point of in any communication we give out to town whether we're going to be collecting tomorrow or not. And it's a conversation I need to have with our contractor whether he's got the available resources to do a manual collection tomorrow morning.
And John,
Monday morning.
Could you just
Monday morning? Excuse me. I'm thinking we're already on Sunday. Yeah, Monday morning.
Yeah. Could you just review? So if someone isn't putting their tree out, wasn't planning to put their tree out this week, or when's the end of that collection?
So we collect for 2 weeks. So the last day is the coming Friday. So I don't have a calendar in front of me.
The 12th.
Coming Friday, 1 week from yesterday, is the last day. It's a 2-week collection. And we are collecting today, because of the holiday, Friday's collection is happening today on Saturday.
Okay.
So those trees I saw on Sedgwick Road this morning will be picked up today.
If that's a Friday collection route,
No, they're not.
I don't think Sedgwick is a Friday collection route.
Yeah, no, they're a Thursday collection.
Yeah,
I'm not. That is, I see a lot of trees out, and
we did see a lot of trees out. So again, hopefully, there's a lot of people seeing this. I know Renee's message gets out to a lot of folks. I just hope a lot of people pull that tree off. They could be behind a little bit, so I'll know better what streets got collected this evening when the routes are done for today's collection.
And if people miss the collection or they're away or whatever, they can always bring their tree down to Brixton, right?
Absolutely. Listen, we have a wonderful facility that accepts all those materials from our residents as a self drop off. It's a fantastic service, one that I hope to expand and do better for the residents in the very near future. But certainly a Christmas tree is well accepted. And I know sometimes we get into I'm not going to get a permit because I never use it for the one Christmas tree. Listen, we're compassionate too. We'll work with people. We're not that hardened where we're going to make you do all the, if you really don't want to get a permit, but you can prove you're a resident, we'll certainly work with you on a case-by-case basis. But we do prefer everybody to get a permit. That way we know we're protecting the taxpayers that pay for the facility, that just our residents are using the facility.
Can you just describe the process for the permit, just so if people are listening and they're...
Yeah, it's a little cumbersome because there's no administrative offices at the facility, so you need to come to DPW's front office, administrative office, and it's important that you show that you have a registered motor vehicle and insured. It's important for government, a municipality, to only allow fully complied motor vehicles on our property for risk management issues, etc. So if you can present your documents that your car is registered in the town of West Hartford, insured, and you have residency that way, then a permit's very easy. Right now, it's just $10 for a year-long permit. We do renew the permits in March, and we don't prorate. So obviously, a permit bought today, it would expire in March. You'd have to get another one come March, and that's what I meant by those who may not want to get the permit just for a single tree. We're certainly compassionate. We're not that hardened. We prefer the permit, but we can certainly work with folks on a case-by-case basis.
Maybe people could bring a utility bill or something, at least to present at if that would help.
We do our best, and that does a good job on showing residency. We really, our policy, it's been a long-standing policy, but and I know it gets frustrating. We really like to know that the vehicles coming on property are insured. It's a risk management issue. And that they're compliant, that the vehicle's even registered to be driving on the road. Again, not to paint a broad brush, but we really do get some vehicles just make go, that's driving, and sometimes they're just folks just trying to be opportunistic on a program. And so we have to have rules in place just so that, vast majority are 100% in compliant. But so we have to maintain those rules that your vehicle is registered and insured to be on property.
And I see John Lyons has managed to join us. John, is there anything?
All right. Well, let me make sure you guys can hear me, because it's been a morning of tech issues. So we use I think, Ronnie, you did a little bit of the intro, but we use a company. There's two, as I understand, there's two major broadcast quality live stream services. This is one, and they're based out of, and I can't remember, I think it's Ireland, but Ireland or England. And then there's one here in the States. And Tech Run goes perfectly. 45 seconds. We're live today, an hour and 6 minutes before I could even get the three of you up. And it took another 20 minutes for me. So my apologies on that. And Shari, I apologize to you. Your time is valuable. John, all of you, really. Ronnie wants to start her day.
I haven't had breakfast.
I know. And I'll be very quick here, but do you want me, it's up to you guys. Do you want me to run real quickly through the next 4 days, or do you want to wrap? It's up to you. I see the faces. I think you guys.
I'm okay. Yeah, if you want to go through it, I'm sorry.
I think do a quick overview, because I think what John said was snow, a little break, more heavy snow, little break, then more snow, and then a lot of rain. Which
right. Yeah, this should be the map. Oh, we might not be able to. Hang on, let's see here. Oh, there we go. Okay. All right, we got it working. So this is the map. This is the map. Oh, nope. No.
I see a big
I'm sorry.
Blu-ray.
That's too bad, because it's the one I really wanted to talk about is, give me a second, I'm going to bring you guys back up. Let's try this again. There we go.
There it goes.
There's a map.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out what this is here. What the heck is that?
It's a blank.
Let's see.
There we go.
Okay, we're working. Can you guys see that okay?
Yes.
All right. Okay. So the storm, we've kind of, John, I heard in your intro, I was able to hear you guys while I continued to troubleshoot with the folks in England. I was able to hear you guys. So I know you kind of gave a rundown on the storm. A couple of things that I think could happen is I think we could see some mixing. If you look here, this is overnight. The storm's really going to wind up 995 millibars, which is like 28.97 or something. On the non-metric system. And I think if it really winds up, we could see some mixing. John, I don't know if you discussed that or not, and that'll suppress totals. The storm's going to move out really quickly. And then there's always talk of back end. I'm always skeptical, usually once these systems move by. But this one's going to be, 90 to 9. It's going to be more of a powerhouse storm than we expected. But the storm I'm really kind of concerned about, I'm going to fast forward here, and forgive me, an ad's going to pop up. There we go. We'll get beyond that. That was not my Mustang. That's the name of a business. But we get here to Wednesday. I'm really, really worried about Tuesday night and Wednesday. It's a long duration event. It's going to be 12 to 18 hours. The temperature's going to be mild. We're going to have so much snow on the ground. I just think, and I don't speak for the town. I want to be very clear to the folks that are watching. I don't speak for the town. I'm very rarely consulted at all by the town on anything regarding schools or anything. But if there's ever a rainstorm that's going to be a widespread disruptor, I think it's going to be Wednesday's storm. So just know that in the back of your minds for the folks watching. I just think it's going to be a disruptor, and I don't want to say more than that, but it's a big, powerful, stronger than this Sunday storm. All rain, heavy rain. I can't call it tropical in nature, but it's going to be very, very heavy rounds of rain. And when you combine that with a fresh 8 or 10 inches of snow, which is going to fall overnight tonight into tomorrow, it's to me, it's a recipe probably for some flooding. So I tried to keep short. I'm going to bring you guys back up. We'll get rid of this map.
John, when do you think the rain is expected to start? Is that John or John?
I'll go first. I think the rain. Tuesday at dinner time is when the rain's going to start, and overnight it's going to get.
As in town council meeting time.
Yeah, town council. Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, so it's Wednesday this week, huh? Oh no, Tuesday night. I'm sorry, I'm looking at the Wednesday map. My apologies. So yeah, it's I think Tuesday around dinner time. But the real heavy stuff's not going to get going until 9 or 10 o'clock at night. So Shari, is it a short agenda? I'll ask you.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure, but you never know.
Public
Right?
hearings.
Kiss of that. That's like the jinx of
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I don't dare ask or comment. And then I talked about it being a long duration. I mean, the rain's not going to be out of here until I would say mid to late morning Wednesday. So you're talking 12 to 14 hours, but a really powerful system. I'm looking here. Let me see if I can try to get a barometric pressure. It's going to obviously be west of us because it's all rain. And yeah, it's going to be substantially stronger. It's going to be 28.85. I'm trying to do the translations in my head, and I'm not very good at it, but about 28.85 on the barometric scale, 980 millibars. That's a strong storm. It's a Great Lakes storm. It's like the Edmund, the Gordon Lightfoot song. It's one of those storms that's going to come off the Great Lakes, intensify, and
John, you're a well-respected local celebrity as far as it comes to weather. So I'm actually glad you talked about that, because immediately just hearing you speak as a public works emergency manager, I think it's important that if anybody's watching this and listening to this, or if you're talking to your neighbors and friends, though we're all focused on tonight's snow, and it's whether you're excited about it or it's going to give you be disruptive to you. It's important that we're looking at something so closely, because what you do tomorrow in your cleanup could be critically important, like maintaining your property. Right? We talked a little bit about driveway and sidewalks. Certainly, none of that changes as far as how the residents should interact with public works of doing it. But you should really go through your property. If you've got down leaders off your house and storm leaders that come off, you want to push that water away from your house. But because you're going to have snow on your yard, you've got a natural dam going to be creating there, which will push the water back towards your house.
If you have downspouts,
and if you do have those extended downspouts, you want to clear that pathway so that water has somewhere to run off to, not towards your home. And I know a number of our properties have those types of low yards, bowl type yards that will hold water. And when rain comes so quickly after a snowfall, all that snow is a sponge, and it will become saturated and it will hold it in place. And so, and what we see regularly on the streets, why we're going to focus on making sure the road is clear, curb to curb. Snow creates ice dams. It creates blockages. It creates a clog at the top of the catch basin. So again, your great points, which reemphasizes what I've talked about earlier. This is an important stone as far as from a maintenance perspective, that we get it right, and we put our effort in all day tomorrow to make sure we're ready for the rain within 48 hours of a snowfall event.
Yeah, look, I'm worried about the snowstorm because I think, first of all, the first snowstorm of the year is always drivers are out of practice. Everyone's out of practice. We run out of things at the stores. But I'm actually more worried about the rainstorm than I am the snowstorm. I think it's going to be more of a disruptor. So we'll see. But I'll keep an eye on it. I'll keep updating the pages. And, Mayor Cantor and John, maybe if it's appropriate, maybe we reconvene here on Tuesday if we're concerned, if the forecast holds, because I'm afraid to say more than a disruptor. I don't want to use the S word, schools. I don't want to use but I just feel like if there's ever a rainstorm that's going to disrupt things, it's going to be, the timing is perfect. It's kind of a perfect storm, perfect confluence of events that's going to, make this storm much more of a disruptor than it would be otherwise. So I hope I'm okay. I don't want to get out in front here, but I hope I'm okay with what I've said. So.
Yeah, and I do think, looking at it, it's going to be in the 50s pretty quickly. So the snow's not going to last for very long, but the nights do get cold again. So
well, we're lucky. It's going to be warm. It's going to be warm for 36 hours after the rainstorm, so I don't think ice, I hope, maybe early in the morning. I just don't think we're going to have an ice or freeze concern. I hope.
No, you won't have a survey, but the snow will add to your water volume that falls Tuesday night into Wednesday.
Right. So there will be pools of water potentially that are going to stay, right?
You might have pools of water where you never had them before because of that. Eventually, the warmth will take over and the snow will dissipate, but that's just going to leave more volumes of water in place.
Right.
Yeah.
That's my
Well,
concern.
it's very good snowman snow. So
it is very good snowman snow. Enjoy Sunday afternoon.
I was late to the party and I apologize, but can I just throw a couple of things out? Number one, I don't think I heard, and Shari, maybe you said this and I apologize if you did, but wellness checks, if you have an elderly neighbor, if you have a disabled neighbor or somebody who struggles, please find time to check on them both after the storm and during the Wednesday event. Clear your, I call it, I think you used a different term, John, but I call the sewer drains, clear the sewer drains, do it tomorrow. I'm sorry?
Storm drains.
Storm drains. Clear the storm drains. And like I said, just exercise caution, but do well. I haven't seen wellness checks anywhere. Maybe Ronnie, if you update your store, you can throw wellness checks in there too. But
if you have an elderly or disabled neighbor or somebody that is frail in any way, like for instance, my 95-year-old mom,
I'll be
checking in. This is really important to make sure that they have what they need today.
So we want to just stay on top. And then if you're over 60 and you don't exercise regularly, be careful shoveling. It is going to be a heavy snow, even though the temperature is going to be cold. The storms, it's going to bring mild air aloft. So what falls is going to be either wet or ice crystal in nature. And just, I had 2 friends over the last 10 years die shoveling snow. And I just be careful. Leave it to the professional. I know it can be a financial burden. Ask your neighbors for help if you need, but just be careful. I hate, like I said, these first storms always scare me a little bit because people are out of practice.
That's right. Yeah. And this is first for a while, right?
Yeah. 700 plus days, I think I read somewhere. So that's a lot of time for New England and for West Hartford. So anyway, all right. Ronnie, thank you for saving the day on this one. We almost couldn't do it. We promised it, and I thought it was important. And it looks like the mayor and John agreed that it was important because they agreed to be here. John, any parting comments before we say our goodbyes?
No, I think we did very well. I think we're again I'm honored for the opportunity to speak to the public. Really, I'm curious of the viewership, but I hope we touch a lot of people, and I hope and beyond that, I just hope word of mouth. Take good points. Just take care of that neighbor. Help each other out. And Thursday morning will come, the sun will shine, and hopefully everything just flows away.
Yeah, we are going to be active for the next few weeks, and we're going to be cold for the next few weeks. I don't think this is going to be the only conversation we're going to be having, whether it's on air or whether it's just behind the scenes. I think we're going to be busy for the next 21 days or so.
It is winter, so we should expect it.
Yeah, it is. Mayor, anything? We got to get you in the town manager on. I'm going to plug that now. We've been talking about that for 2 years. We're into our second town manager of planning.
I know. We'll do it.
We have to do it soon because
just be safe and be patient. And have try to enjoy a Sunday. Our public works are going to be working a lot on Sunday, but hopefully our residents can take their time and enjoy some of it will be beautiful.
Build a snowman.
build a snowman. And I'm so excited with my granddaughter to do that.
We're excited for the baby too. Yeah.
Right. And just, try to pace yourself, right? To take John's words about the heavy snow and shoveling snow. Make sure that you are cautious. And if you have young people in your neighborhood, maybe they can make a little money too. So that'd be great. So.
All right. On that note, for the mayor, for the director of public works, for Ronnie, I'm John Lyons, and we might see in a couple of days here. You never know with these weather things. But thanks all for watching. Thanks for your patience on the tech issues. We'll
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.